Today, we're making tarragon chicken, a dish inspired by gourmet zapsi, a Persian herb stew we cooked earlier on the channel. Very simple. We're going to layer the tarragon flavor in 3 stages. In the vinegar, stewing it just like the Persian stew, and at the very end for brightness, to get the most out of this wonderful, wonderful herb. So, let's do it. First things first, we add the tarragon to white wine vinegar. And the infusion takes minutes in this occasion. Decent amount. And we sear our chicken. Hot-ish pan, some high smoke point oil. In this case, vegetable oil. And be a bit generous, because we can always skim out the fat before we add the aromatic vegetables. Chicken goes in. For braising or any form of long-ish cooking, I always prefer using thigh meat, because not only they're more forgiving, but they actually require long cooking for their connective tissues to break down into extremely tasty, thickening collagen. Whereas chicken breast, you don't really want to bring it anywhere above 67 degrees Celsius. They're much more delicate and more suitable for fast cooking. So we simply let the hot pan first render out beautiful corn-fed chicken fat from under the skin, and once that's happened, we'll start to brown the chicken. Protein, fat, high heat, the Maillard reaction, and that's what's going to make the chicken taste meaty. While that's happening, we prep our aromatic vegetable. Today, just a shallot. But the recipe is just a guideline. You can use carrots, celery, onion, leeks, but the same principles apply. It looks like a lot, but once you evaporate the water content, they're going to shrink down by quite a lot. Don't forget to season your chicken. Just to check on the browning. Initially, the chicken, if you're not using a non-stick, will likely stick to the bottom of the pan. That's absolutely okay. If anything, it prevents the skin from shrinking, giving you a larger surface area to brown. And once you've achieved optimal browning, you should have no trouble lifting them. So we give it a tiny bit more time while we slice the tarragon, just like in the Persian stew. We use a very generous amount. These, of course, will also shrink. The smaller stems are okay, but you don't want the large stems. They become bitter and chewy. Beautiful color. Golden brown. Not burnt. Now, we caramelize the other side. With this, you really want to use a sharp knife to not bruise them too much and puncture too much of the cell membrane. Oh, the smell is incredible. Perfect. Season the other side. If you have the luxury of time, salt the thighs 6 hours before, ideally the night before. This way, the salt would have time to really penetrate, to season them evenly, and also break down their protein fibers into amino acid strands, which would really help them retain moisture. Perfect. Now, once the other side is also beautifully caramelized, we take out our chicken pieces temporarily. I mean, at this point, the thighs are cooked, but their connective tissues have not yet had time to really break down into collagen. So they will be chewy, and that's why we're slow cooking it afterwards. Now, as promised, we skim off the excess fat. I mean, you can always add them back in, so. Or roast potatoes with them. That always works. All right, for me, that's plenty. Now, first the shallots. And you want to lower the heat slightly, closer to medium, so that you don't burn the shallot. What you want to do is to gently, through heat, evaporate the water content inside the shallots, and that will A, concentrate their flavors, and B, release enough moisture to start deglassing the pan, mopping up all those burned bits from the chicken. And they're full of flavors. And we once again season, the salt will also help them release their moisture. Once the shallot has cooled down the pan sufficiently, we add the tarragon. It's very counterintuitive to add tarragon this early in cooking, I know. But with the Persian stew and other recipes from the region, I realized when you cook herb for a long period, you get a lot more complexity out of them. and you have a different flavor profile. Very similar to the tagine dish we did with coriander in that case. And now when I make my bolognese, I always add the parsley in 2 stages as well. This will also be a good time to preheat your oven to about 180 Celsius. We're gonna do the braising in the oven just to maintain and reinforce the crispy skin of the chicken thighs. If you're not using a non-stick, whenever the bottom starts to catch, that's when you can introduce the white wine vinegar gradually. The vinegar serves a similar purpose to the dry Persian lime in the gourmet sapsi, and that will really balance the richness of the dish, especially after we add the kidney beans. You want to get to a point where the shallots are translucent and you can no longer see the bright green colors of the tarragon. So we're practically there. So now we add a generous amount of our tarragon infused white wine vinegar. And we cook out the vinegar slightly to evaporate a bit of the harshness and the very sharp acidity, but it will still maintain enough acidity to balance the dish. Once the acidic smell is no longer in your face, I suppose, we add our kidney beans. These are store-bought canned kidney beans, which I've rinsed because you really want to wash away the salt brine to have more control over the seasoning. If you want to soak your own beans the night before, even better. Mix everything together. Now, just enough water to cover everything. If you have chicken stock, even better. Now we bring this back to a boil. Take the opportunity, clean spatula, nothing goes to waste. Once we're back to a boil, chicken pieces, they go back in, but be very careful. We don't want to submerge the skin, at least most of the skin, but we want the flesh side to be semi-submerged so that they braise with this wonderful liquid to take on some flavors and break down their collagen, break down their connective tissues. Of course, resting juices, they go back in. Now, if you really want a quick dinner, close the lid, 20 minutes, you have dinner. But what we're gonna do, stove off, we're gonna put this whole thing in the oven at 180 for about 30-40 minutes. If at any point you see that the liquid is about to dry up, just add a dash of boiling water to prevent it from burning. See you in 30 minutes. After about 30 minutes, our tarragon chicken's ready. Just remember the handle now is really hot. But look at that. How beautiful is that? The skin not only remained crispy, but actually got crispier. Oh wow. And we've evaporated most of the liquid, but we still have a wonderful, flavorful tarragon jus to go with the dish. And something this beautiful, you just want to take it to the dining table with kitchen mittens, of course, and serve it family style with fresh tarragon on the side, so you could pick them fresh and add them to the dish. This is tarragon chicken with different layers of tarragon flavors. I really hope you enjoy. Done. Beautiful.